Hey everyone, how's it going? Azren, the language nerd here. Hope you're doing very, very well. I just finished going for a run and doing some grocery shopping. I need to cook all of my meals for the upcoming week. I'm going to be making some veggie burgers, some tofu dishes, and a bunch of other things that I'm going to be making. And I wanted to make a quick little video here right off my phone before driving home about picking a language dialect. Often when you go to learn a new language, there are a variety of different dialects that you can choose from. And I've noticed over time that many people, or a lot of people, will struggle with choosing a particular dialect. And so I thought I'd make this little video here, sharing some of my thoughts on how the heck do you pick a dialect when you're studying or when you're choosing to study a different language. I think there's a few elements to consider. First and foremost, I would really think about practicality. That is definitely one element that you can use in your decision-making process. For example, if you are moving to Australia, okay, let's say you live in, you live in Spain and you're going to be moving to Australia in the near future. Maybe it would make sense for you to study Australian English because that is where you're going to be living. So maybe you're going to find an Australian teacher, maybe you find an Australian English YouTube channel, maybe who knows, whatever it is. Maybe it just makes sense to spend a good chunk of your time learning more of an Australian dialect, right? So that is definitely one thing to think about, is the practicality of what's going to be the most useful for your specific reason or your specific scenario behind learning whatever language that you are learning. I think another element that you could be looking at is your personal interest, right? I think a lot of people are interested in learning a particular dialect of a language, and maybe it's not the most popular, or maybe it's not the most widespread, or maybe it's not the most whatever, but that's the one that you like. That's the one that really interests you. Like a good example could be if your family speaks a language, right? And you maybe don't speak it that well. Maybe you're gonna wanna learn your family's dialect, even though maybe your family doesn't speak a very popular dialect or a very common dialect or anything like that, right? That's definitely something that you have to consider as well. So I think overall, when you're looking at this question of dialect, two big things to be balancing is the practicality. What's gonna be the most useful? What's gonna help you the most, etc. And then also just balancing what dialect interests you? What dialect do you actually want to be learning, right? I'll end this video on this note here. It's kind of like, if we look at, whoa, I just clicked something on my phone. There we go, sorry. It's like, I really like a Venezuelan dialect of Spanish. For example, that's me. I like how it sounds. Like, even though maybe it's not the most standard or whatever, like, there's nothing wrong with studying that per se, right? I think one thing we sometimes get lost in is the conversation of which dialect or which type of X language is the best, right? Like, oh, the Parisian French is the best French, not the Quebec French or the Spain Spanish. That's the real one, right? That's the one we really got to learn. That's the best one. Well, I don't really think there is a best or a worst. I think it's really more of an individual kind of scenario. And it's going to be really different for everyone based on your interests, based on your goals, based on why you're learning the language, based on what's available to you. Sometimes there's more resources for certain dialects of languages than there are other dialects. So that's something to really consider as well. So yeah, let's wrap that video up there. Just want to make a really quick little rant directly at the camera before driving back to my house. So thank you so much for watching this here. Really appreciate your attention. And yeah, we'll chat later. Bye for now.